I spent almost 2 years on the late-night shift at the fast food joint, always delivering orders with a grin. My job was a real winner. The pay was solid, especially with the bonus for working the night hours, and the tips were a nice bonus. Since I've been a night owl since I was a kid, staying up late came as naturally to me as breathing. I guess you could say I was the heartbeat of the restaurant, keeping everyone lively and pumped up during those marathon shifts. As the clock crept past midnight, I took a short breath from my tasks, scrolling through my phone to kill some time. A hilarious meme had me chuckling, completely unbothered by the late hour. Then, out of the blue, the phone pierced through the relative calm of the restaurant with its shrill ring. Without skipping a beat, I eagerly snatched up the receiver, ready to jump back into action. "Hello, thank you for calling Midnight Bites. How may I assist you tonight?" I chirped, my cheerful manner shining through. The voice on the other end belongs to a man named Joseph. He's placing an order for delivery, a large pizza with extra cheese and all the sauces we've got. Nothing out of the ordinary. After noting down the details, Joseph gives me the address. It strikes me as a bit odd, located just off the highway in a spot I've never heard of before, but I push aside any lingering doubts. Just another delivery, I tell myself. "Perfect. Your total comes to $18. Will that be cash or card?" I inquire, trying to sound as professional as possible. "Card, please." Joseph replies after a moment's hesitation. "All right, your order will be ready shortly. Thank you for choosing Midnight Bites," I say, ending the call with a smile. As I hang up, a subtle unease settles in the pit of my stomach, but I shake it off, chalking it up to tiredness. Time to get Joseph's order ready and hit the road. I stepped out of the restaurant, pizza box in hand, ready to make the delivery to Joseph's peculiar location. The familiar streets quickly faded into unfamiliar territory as I navigated towards the address he provided. Turning onto a road beneath a looming bridge, a chill ran down my spine. The atmosphere shifted the air, heavy with an eerie presence. The road was barely visible, broken and dimly lit by sporadic streetlights. The address led me to a dead end. I was searching for the red wooden door, as instructed by Joseph. After almost 20 minutes of struggle, I called my manager and told him about the situation. He asked me to find the address at any cost and not to waste the pizza. Finally, after 15 more minutes of searching through darkness, I found a single red wooden door standing ominously. Joseph's instructions echoed in my mind as I approached, the darkness swallowing me whole. With each knock, my heart pounded louder, the silence deafening. No response, no sign of life behind the door. Reluctantly, I pushed it open, entering the unknown. Inside, the air was stale, thick with a foul odor that clung to my senses. I called out to Joseph, my voice barely a whisper in the oppressive silence. A noise drew me to the kitchen, where I found an elderly man, his appearance weathered and worn. He instructed me to leave the pizza and sauces on the table while he fetched the money for a tip. Excitement coursed through me at the prospect of a generous tip, but a sense of unease lingered. Curiosity got the best of me as I followed the scent to a nearby room. The stench intensified, overpowering. Illuminating the darkness with my phone, I discovered a disturbing sight, swarms of insects crawling across the floor, a scene straight from a nightmare. I recoiled in horror, realization sinking in. Without hesitation, I bolted for the door, desperate to escape the suffocating terror of the house. But as I reached the threshold, Joseph emerged, his smile twisted and sinister. Fear gripped me as he brandished a heavy metal rod, his intentions clear. I sprinted to my car, heart racing, adrenaline fueling my escape. Joseph pursued me with unnatural speed, the darkness swallowing him whole as I peeled away from that cursed place. With trembling hands, I dialed the police, recounting the horrors I witnessed. Returning to the safety of the restaurant, I shared my harrowing ordeal with my colleagues and manager, the gravity of the situation sinking in. That moment, we all realized the cost of wasted food paled in comparison to the horrors lurking in the shadows. The room is dimly lit, shadows dancing on the walls as I, Sam, a 21-year-old college student, sit on my couch, a sense of unease palpable in the air. I recount my harrowing experience to my friends, their eyes wide with anticipation, hanging on to every word as I relive the terror of that fateful night. It was a Friday night, just like any other night. I was grinding through my shift at the local pizzeria, trying to make ends meet while juggling my studies. The night shift was brutal, especially for a student like me. The pizzeria is bustling with activity as me and my coworkers prepare orders. I was diligently jotting down orders while his colleagues hustle in the kitchen and prepare deliveries. The sound of sizzling pans and the smell of freshly baked dough fill the air. There were 4 of us on the night shift, 2 delivery guys including me, 1 cook and manager managing the restaurant. It was a routine we were all too familiar with. But little did I know, this night would be anything but routine. I stepped out of the pizzeria, a bag of food in hand, ready to make a delivery. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the long night ahead. The street was eerily quiet, the only sound the distant hum of traffic. I grabbed the delivery for a customer named Daniel and headed out into the night. The air was heavy with anticipation, as if something ominous was lurking just beyond the darkness. I sat behind the wheel of my car, the glow of streetlights illuminating my face. I checked the address on my phone one last time before setting off into the night. Everything seemed normal until I reached midway. The address led me off the highway and onto a deserted road. The trees loomed over me, casting eerie shadows in the darkness. I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. I drove cautiously along the deserted road, the only source of light coming from my car's headlights. The air felt heavy, laden with an inexplicable sense of dread. I glanced nervously at the rearview mirror, half expecting to see something lurking in the darkness behind me. I should have turned back, but the promise of a paycheck kept me going. I felt trapped, sinking deeper into the darkness with every passing mile. And then, out of nowhere, I saw him. Suddenly I spotted a dark figure standing in the middle of the road ahead. I squinted, trying to make out who it was, but the figure remained shrouded in darkness. I honked my horn, hoping to warn whoever it was to move aside, but as I got closer, my heart sank. It wasn't just a person, it was a man, holding an axe, his eyes gleaming with malice in the dim light. I slammed on the brakes, my heart pounding in my chest as I stared at the menacing figure in front of me. The man with the axe began to approach the car, his movements slow and deliberate. Panic gripped me as I realized the danger I was in. Without a second thought, I threw the car into reverse and peeled away from the scene, the sound of the man's footsteps echoing in my ears. I didn't stop until I was miles away from that accursed place. I took a deep breath, my hands still shaking as I recalled the terrifying encounter. My friends sat in stunned silence, the weight of my words hanging heavy in the air, and that's why I never did another night shift again. The terror of that night still haunts me, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the safety of our everyday lives. My friends nodded solemnly, their faces pale in the dim light of the apartment. They exchanged nervous glances, the fear of the unknown lingering in their minds long after my story had ended. I raced away from the scene, my heart pounding in my chest, as I put distance between myself and the menacing figure with the axe. Fear gnawed at my insides as I stole a glance in the rearview mirror, but relief washed over me as the road behind remained empty. However, a chill ran down my spine as I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, as if the man's sinister smile lingered in the darkness, haunting me long after I escaped.